Hello there boys and girls, Lucky here and welcome back to another CSGO video. Today I want to give you guys some tips and tricks on how to rank up in the matchmaking system. Because ever since the ranking system has been introduced to CSGO, all the players are trying to rank up, trying to get better and a higher rank. But of course, no one really knows what's going on with the ranking system. However, I've been counting and measuring and calculating most of my matches from my first rank, which was Master Guardian 1, up until my current rank, which is Supreme Master First Class. So I think I have quite a good idea of what you actually have to do in order to rank up, otherwise I would not have been able to do so myself. So, I would say, let's get it going. First of all, you have to understand that the ranking system in CSGO is a skill-based matchmaking system, which means that it's not like, for example, the prestige system that you have in Call of Duty, where you just play and play and play and casually rank up. You actually, in CSGO, have to get better, and you have to get more skill in order to get into a higher skill group. But how does the ranking system actually know if you should be put into a new skill group? And there are a couple of things that everyone agrees on. This is basically, if you win your matches, you will rank up. If you lose your matches, you will rank down. However, there's a common misconception that's actually going around that you need a certain win streak in order to rank up, which is not true. I mean, to some extent, but it's actually something else that is more important. That would be your win-loss ratio. So let's say, for example, you're a DMG and you lose, for example, 2 matches and then you win 3. Then by the win streak theory, you've won 3 in a row, so you should rank up. But by the win-loss ratio, you actually can see that you're only +1. And of course, the higher you rank up, the more actually positive you gotta be in order to get to the next rank, because of course the top ranks are less populated than the middle and the lower ranks, which is, again, kind of making sense. So what you really want to count is how many games you've won compared to how many you've lost, and if you're very positive, you can make sure that you're about to rank up in the near future. However, if you're just going by a win streak, then your end result won't be very accurate. The same goes for actually the points that you get in-game. So many people think that the higher up you're on the scoreboard, the sooner you'll rank up. And even though there's once again, some truth to it, it doesn't really matter all that much, because after all, CSGO is a team game and you're being judged by your team's performance. So even though you're top of the scoreboard, it sometimes doesn't really make you rank up all that quicker, which you can see by people getting boosted, which are going like 0, 0, and I don't know, 30, and yet they're still ranking up because they're getting boosted, obviously. So, next up, if you want to rank up, you have to be prepared to be a support player. Support players are usually the most liked by everyone else, but if you are playing a support player role by yourself, it's actually pretty annoying, because you have to do all the things that no one else wants to do. You're gonna be the bait, the guy who's flashing everyone else out, and you will be very bad on the scoreboard. And even though you will be very bad on the scoreboard, many people will then again think that you're kind of worse than them, but actually you're just a support player. Your actions aren't really shown on the scoreboard, so it's really important to not have a top frag mentality and think that just because someone has more kills than someone else, that he's actually better. Of course the kills are important, don't get me wrong, because if you're not killing the enemies, they will be more likely to win the round. But after all, if you want to win the game, this should always be your objective, because many people are like, oh my god, my team is so bad, now I just go for the kills, and then, oh look, because he's just going for the kills and not for the win, he of course is top fragging now because he's just getting a couple of unimportant kills, and then he loses, and then he complains about ranking down, and you get the story. So do not have a top frag mentality and be prepared to be a support player role, so that you can actually help your team win the game despite looking bad on the scoreboard. Something else that is also very obvious to help you guys rank up is queuing with your friends, because queuing with your friends is a lot better. You're not risking to get a very bad team or a team that isn't speaking your language and stuff like that. So actually having friends playing with you, and especially higher ranked friends, will make you better. And I do not say get boosted by your friends. This doesn't work like that. And I mean, your friends, if they're really high ranked, they don't want to like kind of boost you up or something like that. But just by playing with better players, you're actually able to pick up more important stuff and to get better sooner, which again will put you in a higher skill group, because the more skill you have, the higher you should be up in a skill group. Of course, the ranking system isn't completely right and it's a little flawed, but that's about how it goes. Also, what I found, which is kind of the contrary to what I just said, is that I always felt like solo queuing will reward you more points. Of course, solo queuing is harder because you do not know which team you'll get. You do not know the guys once again, you might not even be able to speak the language, hence making it a lot harder because CSGO is a team game. But I gotta say, most of the time when I did rank up, it was because I was solo queuing and did win a couple of rounds in a row, or at least the majority of the games that I did play. So you kind of have to decide if you want to go the safe route and playing with friends, which is probably taking longer, or if you want a solo queue, which is more risky, but will probably get you to a better rank sooner. The next thing, which is very important, be nice, be calm, and kick toxic players. No matter how good the guy is, if he's top fragging, if he's carrying you guys, if he's super toxic, you will not win eventually. That's just how it goes. So even though you should be nice, I know it's, again, I'm kind of saying the contrary to what I just said, even though you should be nice and calm, you should still kick the players that are toxic, which are bad for the team's mentality. You can do a lot more with the bot because he's not being as toxic, and even though it's harder to do it with the bot, it's still a lot more likely than just trying to keep up with toxic players. Just mute them first, and if it's still not working, just kick them all together and hope that you actually don't have a pre-made team which is not allowing you to kick them. But next up, let's talk about playing regularly in order to stay consistent. Many people are always asking me how they can stay consistent and that they have like lots of bad days or weeks where they're just then once again ranking down. And most likely, if you're not encountering many hackers or stuff like that, if you did rank down, it was probably because you were still not good enough for the higher skill group. But if you want to stay consistent, make sure you got a warm-up routine as well as a practice routine. And this is basically two different things, because many people are actually telling me that before they're playing a matchmaking game, they're kind of warming up like 1 hour or 2 hours and stuff like that. And this is actually practicing. And if you're practicing, you should wait like another hour or so before playing matchmaking again, because you're exhausted and you're not on point with all the other things that you have to keep in mind while playing matchmaking. And the other thing, the warm routine is just something quick and easy, like just killing a couple of bots for 10, 15, maybe 20 minutes, so that you're kind of warmed up and not going cold into the game. So if we recap, you should always try to play at least 1 or 2 matchmaking games a day, or at least try to do, if you want to skip a day of matchmaking, then do a good session of a training or practice routine in order to not get rusty and worse. Now, there's also something else called matchmaking rating decay, or MMR decay, which is basically decreasing your points if you haven't played for a while. So you all know if you haven't played for a month, you will actually lose your rank and then you have to win another game in order to get put into another skill group again. On my second account, which was a LEM pre-rank shift, which I didn't play on for like 6 months, got put into a Nova 4 after I won the first game again, which is, of course, quite a heavy MMR decay. Normally it's not as big, and of course there was also the rank shift, but if you're not playing for a while, the game will give you a low rank because it thinks, okay, this guy hasn't played for a while, maybe he's rusty, maybe he's not as good as he used to be, so we'll put him lower in order to make him fit into the skill group better. And there's basically nothing that you can do against that besides playing regularly, once again, because let's say you got 200 points of matchmaking rankings, blah blah blah. And then you win our game and you're at 220, and then you do not play for a week. Then you're back at like 200 or 180. Which means that even though if you win all your games, but you're playing just like every week or so, it will take you a lot longer to actually rank up and to get better with the game. So make sure to be consistent and try to play at least 1 or 2 matches a day. Now, if you're saying that you're already doing everything that I just mentioned and you still did not rank up, there's another thing that's actually affecting your ranking, and that would be hackers. And I don't mean that just like meeting hackers and you got a D-rank because of them, but every time you did play a game with a hacker, the game will get nullified as soon as the hacker will get banned. So the player who was hacking, he doesn't necessarily actually have to have hacked in your game. It could have been like a week ago, like a month ago, maybe 6 months ago. But as soon as he'll get banned, all the matches he played will get nullified. So if you've won 8, but every time you had a hacker in the game, all the matches will not count and you're back at 0 again, which again is a reason for you not to rank up even though you have a very high win-loss ratio. Next up, when do I know when I'm close or soon to rank up? And this is very easy to actually look, because let's say you're LEM and your whole team is LEM as well, and you look at the end of the round at the enemy scoreboard and you can see you got like 2 LEMs and 3 Supremes. As soon as you're seeing higher ranks than yours at the end of the scoreboard, you're more likely to rank up. And this is a very good indicator which will actually help you to see if you're closer to getting to a higher skill group. So yeah, these were my tips and the things that I found out about the ranking system. I hope this does help you in some way or another. And I think it's pretty much all for now. If you have any more questions, leave them in the comment section down below, and Lucky Skill Faker out.